big picture, do you feel like Bitcoin is having a narrative problem? Because when we're talking about the geopolitical situation like Iran and debasement trades, Bitcoin was supposed to be it. However, gold took away all the thunder, all the shine. Do you think this is really the moment for Bitcoin and crypto space to do a whole lot of soul searching?
Well, I think what's happening here, and I see it as an operator, it's not just the investors, but the whole crypto space is having some sort of transition from the old guard to the new guard. It's the investors, it's the developers, it is also the users of the technology. You know, from my vantage point, I see it, the developers are different, they're more enterprise oriented. The users and the investors, they're not the old crypto natives, they're actually these crossover investors. So it's a changing of the guard. And I think that is part of the reason why things are the way it is. And this new crossover investor, they have so many choices that can trigger their dopamine, so to speak. They have AI, robotics companies, and prediction markets. So this new investor is not the old investor where they live like, you know, with this narrative only. They are actually more pragmatic. And this is actually a good thing because it's going to broaden out. You're going from early adopters to the early majority.
And let's talk about that outlook in a second. But as we're bracing for this weekend and with President Trump talking about some kind of action, potentially something on Iran, it could actually be an episodic volatility. But do you think that could be another leg down for crypto space? Because crypto, as I see it, has been used as some sort of a source of fund when other parts of markets are volatile enough, sort of triggering margin calls and so on, that crypto was online because it is open for 24/7, that has been really used as a source of fund. Do you agree with that assessment, and do you brace for more volatility and perhaps more downside before it actually sees some recovery?
Well, that's very astute on your part. Yes, it's been a source of funds. Even when you look at the U.S. stock market, although the S&P is barely up or down this year, the underneath the hood has been a big change in rotation, cyclical stocks versus the old Mag 7. So there has been a rotation out of yesterday's favorite assets into today's new, improved, so to speak, temporary fad favorite assets. So I think it is a source of funds. I agree. I think the fact that it is a 24/7 market also helps the rotation of this. But, you know, from where I sit, I look at a lot of things underneath the hood. And reality is, I think Bitcoin is getting closer to a bottom than not. I'm not saying it's over, but it's the velocity of selling and the people who can sell, the size of the transactions, the open interest, it's just signs that it's like kind of okay now. I'm not saying there won't be another down leg, but it looks like it's stabilizing.
Are you watching the private credit space as a potential source of risk or sell-off when it comes to crypto space? Because we've got, of course, private credit concerns that has been really playing out for some time now. And the latest is that Blue Owl's decision to basically continue sort of gating withdrawals from retail funds. Could that trigger yet another episode in crypto space?
It could. Listen, we saw the Blue Owl news. That was, frankly disturbing. It affected all the asset managers. You saw Apollo trade down. They're big in private credit. Blackstone even traded down. Yeah. That just goes to show that when liquidity is coming out of the market, again, there's a rotation out of what people own into other things. And if you need to raise money, you sell what you have first. And there are still people who have a lot of crypto and they need to move on.
And do you think for a crypto space to recover, to rebound and somehow regain its shine or narrative, do you think gold and silver, they need to come down significantly for that to happen? Because there has been a lot of FOMO playing out in the crypto space over the rally that we saw in gold over the last few months.
I think that will, that's not a cause. That will be coincidental because there is a catalyst
Okay.
for the crypto. And what's happening is, blockchain has gone from crypto assets to enterprise technology. You are really seeing the adoption through stablecoin. The DTCC in the US is now tokenizing securities. JP Morgan has a JP Morgan coin. So the adoption is literally happening. It's just the asset class is rationalizing itself. So I think what needs to happen for a catalyst for the space, it's not necessarily looking at gold and silver. That's just a post, that's a result of a catalyst within crypto because it's either adoption or the Clarity Act or something that is giving the next leg of interest into the space.